first grade. We're back for chapter 5 of Freckle Juice. Remember in the story, it started out with Nikki Lane had a lot of freckles, and Andrew Marcus wanted freckles just like his so he wouldn't have to wash his neck, or so he thought. And he was trying to figure out how to get freckles, and Sharon offered to sell him the secret recipe for freckles for 50 cents. So he went home and he got 5 dimes, wrapped him in a tissue, took him to school the next day, gave the 50 cents to Sharon in exchange for the recipe. But Miss Kelly got the recipe. Luckily, she was kind and gave the recipe back to him at the end of the day. He stuck it in his shoe, ran all the way home, went to Mrs. Burroughs' house to get the key, went home, mixed up that freckle juice, and it was awful. But he held his nose and drank it anyway and made himself sick. And then remember that night he had nightmares of a freckle juice monster, and it kept making him drink freckle juice, and it got the freckles instead of him. Well, the next morning he woke up and he decided he was not going to school. He was not going to let Sharon find out that she had tricked him. So now he has a dilemma. His mom's telling him he has to go to school, and he does not want to go to school. Let's see how he solves his problem. We're at the beginning of chapter 5. After breakfast, Andrew raced back to his bedroom. He opened his desk drawer and looked for a brown magic marker. All he could find was a blue one. It was getting late. Blue would have to do. He put the magic marker in his lunchbox and headed for school. He stopped 2 blocks before he got there. He studied his reflection in a car window. Then he took out the magic marker and decorated his whole face and neck with blue dots. Maybe they didn't look like Nikki Lane's freckles, but they sure look like something. And so here's a picture in this book of him putting the blue dots on his face. And here's the picture in this book. Andrew waited until the second bell rang. Then he hurried to his class and sat down. He took out a book and tried to read it. He heard a lot of whispering, but he didn't look up. Miss Kelly snapped her fingers. "Let's settle down, children. Stop chattering." Everybody giggled. "What's so funny? Just what is so funny? Lisa, can you tell me the joke?" And here's Miss Kelly talking to her class and the children laughing. And here is a picture of the same scene in our other book. Lisa stood up. "It's Andrew, Miss Kelly. Just look at Andrew Marcus." "Stand up, Andrew. Let me have a look at you," Miss Kelly said. Andrew stood up. "Good heavens, Andrew! What have you done to yourself?" "I grew freckles, Miss Kelly. That's what." Andrew knew his blue dots looked silly, but he didn't care. He turned toward Sharon and stuck out his tongue. Sharon made a frog face at him. Miss Kelly took a deep breath. "I see," she said. "You may sit down now, Andrew. Let's get on with our morning work." At recess, Nikki Lane turned around and said, "Who ever heard of blue freckles?" Andrew didn't answer him. He sat in class all day with his blue freckles. A couple of times Miss Kelly looked at him kind of funny, but she didn't say anything. Then at 2 o'clock, she called him to her desk. "Andrew," Miss Kelly said, "how would you like to use my secret recipe for removing freckles?" Her voice was low, but not so low that the class couldn't hear. "For free?" Andrew asked. "Oh, yes," Miss Kelly said. "For free." Andrew scratched his head and thought it over. Miss Kelly took a small package out of her desk. She handed it to Andrew. "Now don't open this until you get to the boys' room. Remember, it's a secret formula, okay?" And here she is, handing him the secret formula. And here is the same scene in the other book. Okay, Andrew said. He wanted to run to the boys' room, but he knew the rules. No running in the halls. So he walked as fast as he could. He couldn't wait to see what was in the package. Could there really be such a thing as Freckle Remover? As soon as he was inside the boys' room, he unwrapped the package. There was a note. Andrew read it. It said, "Turn on water, wet magic freckle remover, and rub it into face. Rinse. If magic freckle remover does not work first time, try again. 3 times should do the job. Miss Kelly." There's a picture of the note. I'm going to check the picture in this book. Okay. And here they just made the note have let me see. In this book, here's the note. Right here. All right. Ha! Miss Kelly knew. She knew all the time. She knew his freckles weren't really freckles. But she didn't tell. Andrew followed Miss Kelly's directions. The magic freckle remover formula smelled like lemons. Andrew had to use it 4 times to get his freckles off. Then he wrapped it up and walked back to his classroom. Miss Kelly smiled. "Well, Andrew, I see it worked." "Yes, Miss Kelly, it sure did." "You look fine now, Andrew. You know, I think you're a very handsome boy without freckles." "You do?" "Yes, I do." Miss Kelly, Nicky Lane called out, raising his hand and waving it all around. "What is it, Nicky?" Miss Kelly asked. "Could I use your magic freckle remover? Could I, Miss Kelly? I hate my freckles. I hate every single one of them." Andrew couldn't believe it. How could Nicky hate his freckles? They were so neat. "Nicky," Miss Kelly said, "Andrew didn't look good with freckles, but you look wonderful. I'd hate to see you without them. They're part of you. So I'm going to put away this magic formula. I hope I never have to use it again." Well, Andrew thought, she'd have to get used to it on him. He was through with freckles. When the class lined up to go home, Andrew heard Sharon whisper to Nicky, "I know how to get rid of them." "Get rid of what?" Nicky asked. "Your freckles." "You do?" "Sure. The secret recipe for removing freckles has been in my family for years. That's how come none of us have any. I'll sell it to you for 50 cents. Then Sharon walked up alongside Andrew. Before Andrew could say a word, Sharon made a super-duper frog face just for him. And so over here, she's whispering to Nicky Lane, and there's her super-duper frog face. And that's the end of the story, but we have one more picture. And here we have, over here we have Sharon telling Nicky Lane about the secret recipe for freckle remover and her super duper frog face. So I hope you enjoyed our story about Freckle Juice. We're not finished with Freckle Juice yet. We're going to be doing some activities about our story later this week and even next week. So keep those books out, and I'll see you soon. Bye.